Hey everyone, this is Charlie Cleveland, game director on Moonbreaker, and I wanted to give you a little devlog update. We're getting ready to release our big headliner called Beasts and Blooms, and I wanted to just walk you through some of the changes that are going into the game. And this is going to be pretty informal, but hopefully you're cool with that. So, what do we have here? We have 2 new captains. So we realized this game needs a lot more captains. So we kind of pivoted and just repurposed one of our upcoming crew into a captain. That's Gardener Joe, or Joe. This is our this is our kind of gardener captain. So you can like plant plants and grow things, and he has no attack. I'll let you guys like figure out how this thing plays, but basically he creates little thorn vines. The thorn vines are spiky and they do damage to anything that touches them. And then every turn he nourishes everything nearby and they grow into bigger thorn vines, which then shoot their enemies and kind of move towards the enemies. He can also fertilize the soil, so he can basically create a speed boost for units, including his grown up thorn vines. And you can see that we're calling this a temp model, even though it's actually pretty close to what we're gonna finally ship. We are reworking a lot of the units to be just like clearer and easier to read. So we kind of started making these a little too detailed. So we're doing a second pass on this. I don't think it's gonna make it in time for Beasts and Blooms. So which is why you will be able to paint this guy at launch, but you'll be able to paint him shortly thereafter. So anyways, we're very excited about this new play style for him. And I have a lot to cover, so I'm just going to kind of briefly go over these. This is Zuna. This captain we had planned for a long time. And this is actually another no attack captain. But Zuna fits into our world lore in a really cool way. She basically, I don't know, should I give spoilers? I mean, you're gonna hear some of these in the audio drama when we release that with this patch. But basically, she lost all the creatures on her moon. And so she has her goal is to basically bring those creatures back. And the only way she can really do that is by making little robots. So she's got a whole bunch of robot creatures. So she's our Beastmaster. That's kind of her player archetype. And she spawns with a robot dog whom you don't see here, but it is here, called Tultikon. And Tultikon cannot die. It's an unkillable robot dog. Yes, you heard it here first. And but when it would die, it basically becomes disabled and inert, and she has to get near it, and then she can resurrect it. And she has no attack. Her attack is that dog. So she's that's her first creature. Then she's got Squawk, who's this little guy up here, this robot parrot. And Squawk can create a obscuring smoky area. It's basically air, so it's like soft cover, but you can pass through it. And then she's got Buzz, who's this little insect over here. And Buzz is a healer, but Buzz will follow a unit around and just keep healing them every turn. So all these together give her kind of that control archetype. And she's pretty fun. Having a lot of fun playing with her. We haven't perked through the paces yet with the community yet, but I hope you guys are loving this. So now we've got our 5 captains. We've got more coming. Probably have like another 5 coming, not Beasts and Blooms, and not the update after that, but the one after that. I think will be 5 new captains, so stay tuned for that. Also, we have 5 new crew. So let's see, I'm going to show you these really briefly. These guys, their models are done. So this is Whispers. So he can basically, this is a smuggler unit, and he can basically make units powerless. So he like plays this really weird horn, and he like makes them powerless. And powerless basically means those units, a powerless unit cannot use their abilities. So that'll be for 1 turn. And he also pushes the crew. So this is a pretty fun unit. We're having a lot of fun with this guy. What else do we have here? We have Arms Dealer Yuki. This is a wild unit. Really cool model, first of all. It's so big. I haven't actually noticed that cool thing on the back there. What is that? I don't even know what that is. That's really cool. So Arms Dealer Yuki is, she can basically give weapons to nearby units. So give each ally crew in range a single-use grenade, flamethrower, or mine. It's completely bonkers. This causes some really weird situations, which we think are really fun, but we might have to tune this unit a bit so they're not giving like nectar vines grenades. We're just going to let it slide for now, but we may have to come back and tune that a little bit. But very fun and thematic unit. You can see Noxie. That was from our last update. Hope you guys are having fun with Noxie, giving you free toxoids. We also have our first UWEDI unit, which we're going to talk about. We were planning on releasing a whole bunch of UWEDI units all at once. Excuse me. But we kind of pivoted a little bit. Some units weren't ready, other ones were. So we decided to release this one now instead of the next update. So you can see pretty different visual style, although it's the same as the Gardener. So the Gardener is also a UWEDI unit. We'll be learning about all that lore pretty soon. It'll be following update into our Into the Reaches story mode, single player story mode, which we are starting to work on now and very excited about. So what does this guy do? He returns crew to the bridge. So he can basically just walk up to any unit and just throw them back up the bridge. Just get them off the map, which is really powerful and really interesting. He also takes damage every time he does it. So the idea is he can't just like do it forever. But really fun, interesting playstyles are unlocked with that unit. Then we have Dr. Feelbad, which is such a cool model. Yeah, I really like how this guy turned out. He's got these two like kind of gooey poison cannons. For a while we thought it was going to be poison, but we ended up with kind of like a corrosive particles kind of effect. So he can basically like shoot this acid on a unit and it increases damage on that unit for a whole turn. So, and he can actually do it twice. He's got a 1-cost version and a 2-cost version. And this is where the Dr. Feelbad comes in because it feels really bad when you're covered with that goo. Pretty excited about him. Let's see, we got one more here. This is the last one. Whispers, hit and run. I wrote it down here. Oh, Fixer. Fixer. So Fixer's an interesting unit too. They're like a double ability unit. So first of all, they can infuse a unit, which again you saw from our old ship assist, Cinder Infusion. It's that same thing. You basically give a crew will emanate Cinder every turn. So spend 1 Cinder and then a crew will give you 1 Cinder every turn for 3 turns. So you better make sure they live long enough to pay it off. That's why they have like this huge piece of Cinder there. And then the other ability is giving a unit a bounty. And bounties it's a feature we keep toying with. We're like so interested in it. And we keep like adding it and removing it, adding it and removing it. But bounty basically it means if a unit has a bounty on them, then if they die, they give the enemy 1 victory point. So we are also playing with bounties in general. I'm not sure at the time of this recording. I'm not sure if we're actually going to ship bounties on all the crew, but we're actively looking at it. So we may or may not ship a bounty on every crew. But even if we did that, then Fixer could increase the bounty on a crew. Really interesting, fun unit. This is actually my favorite unit right now. Really loving it. Okay, so those are the new units that are going in. What else is happening? Made a little list here. We've been hard at work on a completely new tutorial, which you can see here on the main menu. Our first tutorial that we launched in early access was not complete. It didn't teach you about Cinder or the resource model or really anything. It just kind of taught you the basics. So we've gone through and like exhaustively given you everything in the game. It's actually way better, way more exhaustive, and I hope it's a lot more tuned. You also you get rewards for finishing all these things. So we added some new banners and stuff like that. And the final tutorial battle, you actually get a Foam Maximus, which is a community request, I believe. That was like a training dummy, just like a foam version of Maximus that people seem to love. And so now you can unlock that skin if you finish that. Also part of that tutorial, I mean, that was actually behind the scenes, that was going to be our biggest feature for this update. But we turned out to just go ahead and add a whole bunch of other stuff on top of it. So it's not the only thing anymore. I also just clicked try me. So you can now look at any game. We train. You just quickly just test it out. Here's that foam Maximus. So you can just really quickly try out one particular unit in a little testing grounds. This lets you try out new captains, new units. I'm going to show you a captain one right now. Some of these are like, you know, kind of difficult little puzzles. Let's see what Gardner Joe does. We're hoping this is just going to help the accessibility of the game. There are a lot of problems where people like download the game and play it and they bounce because they're not getting it. So we're trying to like actively improve that right now. So here's Gardner Joe.
Spring the helping vine.
So you can create these little thorn vines.
Shape your healing yet.
By the time you guys play this, it will probably I hope that the effects will be better. So here's his nourish range. And because there's like spikes on this, thorns on the thorn vines, I can actually pull units into it. It would actually matter, but if they would take damage. Let's see what else. Now it's going to nourish everybody nearby, which gives them temporary extra max health. Pretty fun. Let's get this up. Like this thing up here. So went out this little click thing here. Good, cool.
Yeah,
that.
I hope they don't.
Anyways, this is a great way to just quickly try out captains and rosters and stuff. And we think we're probably going to expand this later into more of a sandbox, a full-fledged sandbox mode, although we're not totally sure yet. I'd say compared to, of course, other toolbox. Attack the jet my turn. He's going to move towards you and attack them. The effects will all be better by the time you play. Great. Get the idea. So that's our try me mode. Let's see, we added new default rosters. So now that we have new captains, we added some new default rosters. So here's a Zuno roster. We added one for Gardner Joe. And I can't remember if we had them. I don't think we had them for Astra or for Zax. So that's something that we think is also going to help the accessibility. People seem to love that so far. Speaking of rosters, we did I wouldn't say completely redo roster building, but we definitely made a whole bunch of improvements. So I think it's been one of the biggest pain points in the game. But first of all, you can just say there's your captain here. So I'll choose my captain. And then actually while I'm here, I can actually just like look at all my units. I can just quickly add them all. You can see it shows me 3 captain for 3 crew. Just go I could type in whatever here. What am I going to type here? Cholet. I guess that doesn't work right now. Not sure why. That probably just broke. So I could just do all that, and boom. There's my roster. Much easier to handle than the old way. Also, we added a Control-C, Control-V thing. So while I'm in this mode, I hit Control-Z, and then I bring up Notepad. Hopefully you can see this. And I hit Control-V. You can see I can paste that into chat, like Discord or whatever. I can say Charlie's roster. And then I hit Control-C. Like Control-V. Now you can see anyone can select that. And actually, if I just like hit cancel, I can actually paste that in. I hit Control-V and boom. It just pastes it all in just like that, and I save it. This is going to be really great for the community, and it's already paid for itself in terms of testing. It's been awesome. What else can I show? Let's see. So here, let's see if I do private game. If I go to private game, we actually added a map selection and also a scenario selection. This is something so the community can have tournaments, and also so it helps us test, and it's just a good feature for all of us. You can even, I don't know if you guys are going to get the no costs cheat or not, or if that's just a developer thing, I'm not sure. Another thing we've really wanted to add for a while and people have been asking for, we're going to do this bigger, but for now we just wanted to add a quick leaderboard. This data might be totally wrong. I'm in offline mode, so I'm not really sure what this is showing me, but this is going to show the top 10 people. I think we're going to allow you to tab through these. I'm not sure, that's just not working right now. I should be able to see everything, but this has been one of our most requested features. And it's not ranked mode, but it's one step towards there. And we will definitely be doing ranked mode after that once we have time. So let's see what else. I wanted to show you a couple other things. Let's see here. So we also have been working on the map readability. So this is an example of how the maps used to work in the current live version. So they're really colorful. They just look cool. They look great. We always love this, except the units are, they're kind of hard to read. You know, they kind of don't pop out from the environment. So we started one step. There's actually many steps we're going to take here, but we have taken our first step towards basically desaturating and lowering the brightness of the map floor and then popping the units out. So they're going to be a lot easier and clearer to read. Most people aren't even going to notice this. You're just going to the game's just going to feel better, but you're not going to notice why. You can also see that we added, I think it's shown, maybe it's actually not shown in the screenshot very well, but we added bases on all the props. So just like the units have, the props all the cover obstacles have bases on them to make them a lot clearer about how you move around them. And we did more work to make sure that the edges of the map are clearer. So this is just like one step of many that we've taken that we think we're just going to make the game just a lot clearer. One thing we're going to do on the next patch is, we talked about it today, is figuring out how to reduce the impact of these health bars. So that's the next one. I'm getting ahead of myself. But another thing we fixed was there are some stuck issues where a unit could pin another unit inadvertently, or maybe advertently, if that's a word. But it's you look at this and you're like, should Broken Vengeance really be trapping Maximus? Mathematically, maybe there was a case for it, but we basically added some tolerance in there, so this will not stop your unit from getting stuck. This has been a huge quality of life fix for us. Very happy about that. And I think that's actually all I wanted to cover. So I will just say one other thing. This is Beasts and Blooms. It's all about the two new captains. We got the Beast Master, we got the Bloom Master, the Gardener. But after this update, we are going to be releasing probably our biggest update yet. It's going to be about 6 weeks after Beasts and Blooms. Might need a little more time because it's such a big update, but we're hoping for 6 weeks. And that is going to be our long-awaited single-player mode. Obviously, this game has Brandon Sanderson all over it. We've worked so hard on the lore with him. We have spent years working on the lore and the world, and there's very little of it in the game. And we always knew that we hadn't gotten to it yet. We always knew that, no, should we launch an early access without this? We decided to. I'm glad we did, but the game has basically been incomplete up to this stage. And I think adding a single player mode is going to be awesome. It's probably going to be the mode that most people are going to want to play. We've taken lessons from our cargo run, and we are bringing you so much lore, bringing you a codex. You're going to be able to read all about the cultures and the individual people and all the areas of the reaches and all the customs and all this stuff. All that stuff will get unlocked as you play. So it's actually going to finally be a complete miniatures game experience at that point. So we are very excited about that. We've worked so hard on the battling and the multiplayer side. Now it's time to turn our eye towards the single player. Now that we've got that core, built pretty well, feeling pretty good. Anyways, can't wait to talk about that with you for the next update. In the meantime, I hope you enjoy the whole early access experience. Thanks for helping us along. I wish we'd gone into early access a year ago, but here we are. And thanks for all your feedback and help. And thanks for being on the Discord. You guys are super helpful and great. And we'll talk to you soon. See you online. Thanks.